Welcome back, folks, to WrestleRant, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, review all the pay-per-views that I watch on the WWE Network, and today we're talking about the Royal Rumble 1999. So not one of the better Royal Rumble events from the Attitude Era time period. The 98 one, which I talked about on Saturday, cheap plug, check it out if you haven't already. It was a pretty good show. Thoroughly enjoyed the 2000 one. I thought that was a great show in MSG. Even 01 was pretty good. This one was not one of the better ones, and we'll get to right down to why in just a second. So kicking off the show was Big Boss Man versus Road Dogg. Really no rhyme or reason. It was a fine match. It got 10 minutes more than it should have, almost clocking it at almost 12 minutes. I mean, it wasn't a bad match, but why? I do not need to see a 12-minute match from Big Boss Man, who was a great big man to his credit, but when you're in there with a less compelling, singles competitor in Road Dogg, who didn't really flourish on his own, there really wasn't much there to the match. It was just kind of there. So one of the least exciting Royal Rumble openers that I've seen in quite some time. Big Boss Man won with a black hole slam, so a decent match, but it went way longer than it should have, and kind of a boring match. After that, Ken Shamrock defended the Intercontinental Championship against Billy Gunn, and again, a pretty boring match. Down the stretch, it was entertaining, because Billy Gunn's a great athlete. Don't get me wrong, he's a great athlete. He's a great competitor. He's a great wrestler. He's not a tremendous performer on his own. I always thought he did better in DX than he did on his own, a lot like Road Dogg. But again, the match went a lot longer than it should have, at almost 15 minutes. But I was glad that, unlike the preceding match that wasn't really explained why it happened to begin with, at least we had a reason to care about this match after Billy Gunn had mooned Ken Shamrock's sister, Ryan Shamrock, who played a big factor in the IC title chase going into WrestleMania 15. So it did have a setup, it did have a reason, it was meaningful to that extent, but the match itself really wasn't anything special until the finishing sequence, which was good, but otherwise kind of a dud match. Speaking of dud matches, for the European Championship, X-Pac successfully retaining his title against Gangrel. Again, why? I don't really care about Gangrel by himself. He had a great theme song, which is everyone seems to talk about, everyone seems to praise about him, but other than that, he wasn't an amazing character. I mean, the whole blood thing was cool and all, but as a wrestler, he left a lot to be desired. The same thing with X-Pac, who was great on his own at some points in his career, did a lot with the European and Cruiserweight Championships, the light heavyweight titles, whatever. But this match really didn't do anything for me. I mean, unlike the preceding matches, at least it got only a couple minutes. It only went about 5 or 6 minutes, but it was a very strange match I didn't really care about too much. And X-Pac, like I said, still the European champion. That match was just kind of there. For the Women's Championship, a strap match, and not what you think it was. Sable defending the Women's Championship against Luna Vachon, with Shane McMahon in Luna's corner. So they had said, Sable's coming down to vacate the belt because she's coming down with a back injury. Sable competed anyway. So she was a valiant champion. The match really wasn't that good at all. It was, again, just kind of there. Sable was not a great worker. For as over as she was not a good worker at all. And Luna Vachon tried. I think she's very underrated. I think she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame at some point. Just my opinion. Anyway, the match was there. The stipulation. The strap matches are rarely ever entertaining. But this one was alright. It wasn't a good match from a wrestling standpoint, but at least they tried. The interference from Shane, and then later Tori, who was described as a crazed fan who came down and attacked Luna, allowing Sable to win, made it a little bit more bearable than I thought it would. Still not a good match, but at least the interference helped it to, at least in this case. After that, for the WWE Championship, the infamous I Quit match between the defending champion Mankind and The Rock. As seen on Beyond the Mat, in a documentary that if you haven't seen it, it's a great documentary, not one produced by WWE, which probably makes it better. Kind of describes the ups and downs of Jake the Snake Roberts and Mick Foley and Terry Funk and a few other wrestlers as well. It's a great doc, but they go in depth with this match and showing the reactions of Mick Foley's kids at ringside, or maybe I think it was at ringside. I don't think they were watching from home. I forgot. I haven't seen the doc in a couple of years. But it was great, though. But the point I'm trying to make is that this match, as awesome as it was, I'm not saying it's a bad match. It's a great freaking match. Probably one of, if not the best I Quit match in WWE history. It's very uncomfortable to watch down the stretch. They had a lot of awesome character development here with Mick Foley refusing to give up, refusing to say I quit, despite all the relentless chair shots that he took to the head. And in the end, he never said I quit. Rock just played a tape, which was creative at that time after WWE had redone it time and time and time again. For the next 10 fucking years. But before that, though, that was a very creative finish with Rock, playing an audio tape of Mick Foley saying "I quit" from the Raw prior, or whatever it was, on the Go Home show. But before that, the relentless chair shots were just sickening to watch. Sickening. Just having Mick Foley's hands tied behind his back, or handcuffed rather, and Rock just going to town with the chair shots. It was just almost gross to watch. Again, an awesome match. I felt like they went a little too far, needless to say, in that respect, and having Foley just take so many chair shots, and seeing where he is now, he's still in great spirits, still, a great person and all, but in the shape that he's in now, with all the bumps that he took over the course of his career, and what we know now with concussions and whatever, not the smartest thing they could have done, and I'm very happy they've since banned chair shots. They can still take them. I would wish they would put their goddamn hands up, and of course, in this case, Mick Foley couldn't, but he smacked him at least 10, 12 times in this match. It was ridiculous to watch, and he took a couple dives off the side of the stage in the electronic area where the stage setup is. I can't really describe it, where all the TV set up and the monitors are, I guess you can call them. That was tough to watch, but a great match, though, nevertheless. I'm not saying, I guess if you like seeing someone get the shit kicked out of them, this match is for you. But even despite that, I think this match has a lot of great character development. From that respect, it's not too great to watch. It is kind of tough to watch with the chair shots and all the sickening bumps that Mick Foley had to take here, or volunteered to take. But though, putting that aside, putting my my own human concern, my concern for human safety aside, this was a great match, and like I said earlier, one of, if not the best I Quit match of all time, with a clever finish that protected Mick Foley, made him look like a complete champion for refusing to give in and continuing this great feud between the two on the road to WrestleMania. And in the end, The Rock regained the WWE Championship before losing it back to Mankind at the halftime Super Bowl halftime Heat show, where Mick Foley regained the belt before again losing it to The Rock on Raw or one of the pay-per-views. I forgot what it was. But anyway, great match. The Royal Rumble match up next, where the winner advanced, as always, to the main event of WrestleMania for a WWF Championship match, was not as good as the previous Rumble. You had a couple different stories going on here, a lot like the 98 Rumble. They were just hell-bent on ensuring that Stone Cold Steve Austin did not win the WWE Championship, or did not win the Rumble, rather. So Vince McMahon came in at number 2. Austin was in at number 1. And they just kind of went back and forth, and at a lot of points they went outside the ring, which in my personal opinion kind of takes away from the Rumble, seeing someone just kind of walk outside the ring, albeit underneath the top rope, under the bottom rope, but I don't know, it just kind of defeats the purpose of the Rumble and not touching the floor. I know, you never went over the top rope, but I don't know, I always thought that was kind of dumb. They did that during many points throughout the course of this contest, with McMahon having people attack Austin backstage. Austin came back, and McMahon was sitting in on commentary. Austin eliminated the whole slew of superstars before going back to McMahon. Rock came out to distract Austin long enough to allow McMahon to toss Austin over the top rope and pick up the win, and becoming the winner of the 1999 Royal Rumble match. So, not even a disappointing finish, because they would give the title shot back to Austin anyway. He would go on to win, 3 Rumbles over the course of his career. I don't know if he needed to win this one too. I would have given the Rumble win to frickin' Mick Foley before I would have given it to Mr. McMahon. I just felt like he was kind of putting himself over. He would lose the title shot anyway, but wasn't really that good of a Rumble. Kind of the train wreck style that the Attitude Era was known for. I don't know. I just enjoyed the 98 Rumble more. I thought this was all right. And a couple different stories going on here. With McMahon attempting to ensure that Austin did not advance to WrestleMania. Jeff Jarrett coming down at several points. Austin going in the role that he did down the stretch in the Rumble. So a lot of different things going on, but I don't know. I just felt like a slew of superstars just kind of going in there for no reason. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of not that strong of a Rumble as we have seen in years prior, but still led to the same result at WrestleMania. Rock and Austin, which they had heavily teased throughout the show, throughout this Rumble, especially towards the end, building to that WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 15 for the WWE Championship. So that was the Royal Rumble 1999. On the whole, an alright show. I mean, the only match I would consider watching in its entirety would be the I Quit WWE Championship match. Everything else, the undercard is very weak. None of the matches stand out in any way, any positive way anyway. They're all just kind of there or not good. The championship match, the WWE Championship match, that is, was a great freaking match. Definitely check that out. The Rumble was not as must-see, but if you like the Attitude Era, then you might find it entertaining. I just didn't really like it as much. It was just kind of very chaotic, hard to follow, a lot of different, overbooked in some respects, but on the whole, not completely terrible. Not one of the worst Rumbles I've ever seen. At least they had a solid story going into it and coming out of it. It wasn't just there for the sake of being there. Not a must-see show by any stretch of the imagination. There are other Rumbles that I would suggest that you watch before this one, check out before this one. The 98 Rumble, the 2000 Rumble, the 01 Rumble, 02 Rumble. Basically, any other Rumble before or after this one I thought was better than the 99 Rumble. But still, a decent show. You wouldn't be wasting your time if you watch it. Unless you, love the Attitude Era, then you're going to be loving this show. But still, fine show. Check it out if you want, but otherwise, it's not a must-see Rumble show on the road to the Royal Rumble 2016, on the road to this year's installment. So that is my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. That is my review on the Royal Rumble 1999. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. The support is always appreciated. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back on Saturday with my review of the Royal Rumble. I think it's 2003. We got a little while because I've already talked about the 2000, 01, and 02 Rumbles from last year if you want to check those out. Already here on WrestleRant from last January. But I'll be back on Saturday with my review of one Rumble I have yet to talk about, and these are the Royal Rumble 2003. So until then, guys, be safe, be well, and I'll be back then with my review of that Rumble. So have a great week, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.